What's your name?
Jelani Enix.
Okay. What's your classification?
I'm a sophomore.
You're a sophomore?
Yes, sir.
And you like Tuskegee?
Yes, sir. No place like it.
What'd you like about Tuskegee?
I think the thing I like mostly about Tuskegee is like the family atmosphere. I know it's a big cliche, but that's pretty much the family atmosphere.
Okay. What you do here? So, like, what's your major?
So my major is mechanical engineering, and I guess you'd call it work study, but I'm also a tutor out here. I tutor calculuses 1 through 3, general physics 1, general chemistry 1, and principles of economics 1.
Sound like a busy man.
Yes, sir, got to be.
Man. So what's your study method? Because that's crazy. Because how are you able to study and tutor all those subjects?
Well, it's all about time management. Now, I admit my time management sequence is a bit wompy. It kind of works with me. But the way I do it, day by day is during the week. Since I tutor and study at the exact same time I have classes, what I do, I segment my days, pretty much let them meld into each other. For example, I'm taking differential equations, and I tutor a lot of math classes. So given that differential equations is based off Cal 1 through 3, when I study and tutor for calculus, I'm kind of sort of studying for differential equations. So I kind of mix and meld it throughout the week. I'm letting tutoring take most of my time, and then what's left, I'll do, the rest of my studying. But on the weekends, that's when I do all my heavy work. Now that's during the day, One thing I didn't mention until the last is that I don't sleep that much. I get about, that's why I kind of kept into that. I try to get about 6 hours of sleep, but really it's sometimes lesser than that because I have my other hobbies. And I just catch it all back on the weekend. But I tend to study at night, not only because that's when I have time for it, but that's when I concentrate the most and get the most time out of it. The way I see it, it's better for me to take 3 hours starting at maybe 11 o'clock and at 2, 3 hours of hard studying, writing essays, and rather take 5 hours during the day of getting distracted, moving off. And yes, it's during the day and I get to sleep on time, but it's still more time. It's still more net time. 3 hours in the middle of the night versus 5 hours in the morning. That's just how I function. But yeah, that's pretty much the overview, I study all my study and all my personal stuff I do in the nighttime, but during the day I get to tutor and pretty much spend that time on other people, whatever they need help with work or whatever. So yeah, that's pretty much what I do.
Man.
Yes, sir.
All right, so let me get this straight. Mm-hmm. You created a schedule for yourself that worked for you. Mm-hmm. How long did it take you to get that?
It's a developing progress. I've been homeschooled since the 5th grade, so this is like from the 5th to the 12th on, this is like a 7-year work in progress.
7 years?
Yes.
So you was already homeschooled. Mm-hmm. I guess that does help in certain subjects.
Yeah, definitely, because studying in the middle of the night actually helps me a lot with English. With writing, when I have my English comp classes in my Black American literature from last semester, it really helped me to ground down, like in the middle of the night when you're when you're able to think freely. And what I found, you're at a certain level of tiredness. When you get used to it, at a certain level of tiredness where you think naturally slower and you take more time. And when I had a portfolio to do last semester that I only had a week with, I did very well on it because I did it in the middle of the night, had more time to think.
So when you talk about portfolio, what do you mean?
Oh yeah, that was my final exam portfolio for Black American literature. It was a 3-part portfolio. We had to write 3 works of art based on our course theme, We Wear the Mask. I did a poem based on Paul Laurence Dunbar, We Wear the Mask. I renamed it We Renounce the Mask. I wrote my own version of a Bruh Rabbit folktale because I used to read that all the time when I was younger, back in 6th and 5th grade, maybe before then. And then finally I sung a song for the centerpiece. I did my own cover of just sung the song of We Wade in the Water.
So you are a mechanical engineer major.
Yeah.
That dibble and dabbles in music too.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned it.
Creative right here.
Yes, sir. Math and music. Those are my niches. That's what I work on and what I want to aspire to professionally, at least in both of them. Engineering, mathematics, and music, because they all intertie. Especially music, you get into the deeper, levels of music like Pythagorean tuning and all that. They're just mathematics and just beautiful applications. So yeah.
Okay. If you had one tip for somebody who's coming to Tuskegee, they already got accepted, they just waiting on the fall semester, what would your advice be?
I think my biggest advice would be time management. The thing about it is, because I'm 19, so we want to play, we want to have fun, but we want to get our work done. You have to manage your time to a T. Like, I don't have a written schedule, but everything I do, I have a place and time for, even down to playing video games and sleeping. You know, you have to think in your mind, if I spend an hour on this, I have to take an hour for something else. Whether it be sleep, video games, more work, you have to figure out what you put more importance on. And I'm like this, when you figure out what you put more importance on, that decides whether you need to really be in school, I think. What do you put more importance on? If you want to put more importance on your work, then that has to be your purpose. So time management reveals also your purpose. If you put more emphasis on sleeping and going to parties or whatever, then your purpose may not be aligned with what you need to come here for. So you got to get that straight before you get here. Because one thing about Tuskegee, our curriculum for some reason is very accelerated. And it's easy to get lost if you get off even for a weekend. If you get off for a weekend, you get lost pretty quickly. So I think time management to reveal your purpose of what you're here for is like the best thing to do.
Okay. Man, got a lot of knowledge on you.
Yeah, I try.
All right. So here's another question. You're doing pretty well in your classes, right?
Yes, sir.
What would you say is a subject that you feel you have to work harder on?
Well, my main emphasis is mathematics. That's a good question. My math classes are not bad, although differential equations, I've never seen that math before, I have to put more time in it. But historically, since I've been here, the class I have to focus most on is like the applied sciences, chemistry, physics, and things like English. And the reason I say English is because, especially if you're a STEM major, your mind is really on your sciences. And one thing about it, and I always did that, it's easy to let go of your English classes, because not that we don't view them important, because I love English, I was gonna get a minor, but it just seems to be low on the totem pole. Because you're an engineering major, all your classes are math and sciences, and then you have English over here. And another thing, if it's somewhat easy for you to write essays, it kind of gets lower on the totem pole. So I feel that if you're a freshman coming in and really as a sophomore, and you're good in your sciences, really buckle down in electives for the sake of time management. Because what you'll do, you'll focus so much on the sciences, getting those down, and then you think an essay takes you an hour, but you only have 30 minutes left. So you rush that and mess it up. So I think, for STEM majors, focus on your electives, if you're good in your sciences. Now, if you're not good in your sciences, then of course, like I say, balanced time management is what's needed. But I say pretty much, like I said, for me, it's the applied sciences and then my elective courses,
Okay. So we from the South, you know what I'm saying? So
yes, sir.
You from Mississippi?
Yeah, I'm from Southwest Mississippi. I'm from Fayette, Mississippi. Probably a very small number of people know where that's at, but.
So you're real familiar with old town sayings. So have you ever heard of just because you're talented don't mean you're gonna be successful?
Yes, sir. They told me that.
Do you believe that's true?
100,000,000%.
Yeah.
Same thing. You need more than book knowledge.
Yeah.
And I'm glad Mark brought this up, because one thing like I said, I'm homeschooled, so my social life wasn't, all that active, I should say. And it's easy, especially for someone, who does well in school and who is very professionally minded, who does well in the professional field. It's very, very easy to neglect just the base social. In order for you to get to the top, you got to go from the bottom. And when you do well in school and when you do well in professional academia sense, you sometimes forget that you have to talk to people. And that's one thing I learned and improved me a lot. That's how I got to know Mark, is because I, kind of grounded myself and, just kind of stepped a bit away from the academic side of things and just focus on the social aspect. And I'm sure nobody will really have this problem unless you were in a somewhat not social environment, but it can be neglected, especially when you come to school. A lot of times they tell you, when you come out here, remember what you're here for, don't party too much. And then we get in our heads, okay, I just need to be in my books. I need to set up connections. But you kind of neglect the fact that a lot of these students, your classmates, we're going to get in very big positions. All of us, every last one of us. And we need to know each other because we can help each other out. So I'm glad you mentioned that. It's that social aspect that you need to also focus on. That's why it's important for time management. Things like go to parties. Even when you go to parties, get to know people. Figure out who is who. Get people's names. Make sure folks know your name. And when you in class, you don't have to be the greatest genius, but when your teachers ask a question, just answer it. If you get it wrong, guess what? That's what you're in class for. But people will know your voice, your teachers will know your face, your classmates will know your face. And when you in the caf or whatever, people will know you. Hey, I know you from my economics class, my English class. And that's how you get people in your head. And that's how you get people to keep you in their heads. So when they get somewhere, they see you and you ask some questions, they be like, hey, I know you. And they looking for somebody, you'll be in their head. So yeah, I think glad you mentioned that.
Okay, so you mentioned you know how important teamwork and networking is.
100%.
How has that helped you since you've been here at Tuskegee?
I mean, it's helped me largely. Since I've been here, I was actually able to do an interview with an up and coming poet. I talked to Dr. Indy, who was my English Comp professor, and English Comp 1, and I was actually able to host an interview with a poet named J. Eileen, and that was a very great experience for me. Like I said, I met you, Mark, and I'm able to do this interview, and this is completely not school-based. Let's see, what else have I been able to do? My internship, I got an internship, and I offered for an internship. That was completely because of my social life. It wasn't a professor that approached me, it was one of my friends. And how I knew my friend, Mr. Turner, was that I knew someone else who knew him. And just a lot of other things, my internships. I think the only opportunity I've got that was purely out of academia was my tutoring. But really, how I got signed into all my other courses was also because of my social life. So networking and getting to know people, and like I said earlier, just getting in the heads of other people, showing your face, that really aids a lot.
All right, I appreciate you coming out today.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you having me.
Yes, sir. Good luck on your studies, and we'll definitely have you back again.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. And to you.
You know.
Yes, sir.